live with your host, Mini Mike, and his lovely sidekick, Scrapyard.
What's up, everyone?
Dang, I really need... There's a media function on this that I really need to put in, like that... What was the DJ air horn?
I don't know, man. I quite like it when you do it.
You know, I get like that. We can do this. Like, I got this in here. We could do stuff like I'm gonna try to import that. So
Yes. I think all our listeners will miss you doing it though.
We could keep it then. We'll keep it. We have a new guest coming on. We're waiting for her to join in a little bit here, so we thought we'd pop on, jibba jab a little bit. I know we teased a big announcement, but I guess we got a couple announcements. One, we're gonna have to we're finalizing with some meetings and things like that. So we'll probably have to wait for that. And the other one, Sean, would you like to do the honors on the other one?
I think I'm going to make him wait until the end of this episode. So
Okay.
If you're listening or if you're watching,
Okay.
you're going to have to sit through this, listen to us ramble on with our lovely guest, and then
You
you'll
sons
find
of
out the
bitches.
news at the end.
You gotta wait.
Oh yes.
I know. I love when influencers do that. You gotta wait
Oh.
till the end of the episode.
That's they do it every time as well, don't they? It's like they know.
Well, hopefully people enjoy listening to the podcast where they do end up staying to the end. So, yeah.
Yeah, either that or there's the 15-second skip button at the bottom of the Spotify, but I didn't say that.
Well, what's going on? What's anything new with the Outlaw?
Not much really. Still, I've done a little bit more sanding as always.
I'm gonna let you just tell me when you're done sanding and when something exciting happens.
The thing is, like all the pictures I'm taking for the social media now, it's all sanding and primer, and I'm just like, nobody wants to see this. It's just I've got nothing fun to share apart from what happened in the summertime. So I don't really know what to post anymore.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. Mine's been sitting for almost a year now. I took the engine out like in July to do the gearbox. So it's like I like posting the picture of my car because I like taking pictures of my car. And that's the whole reason I started the Instagram really is because I liked taking I've discussed this before. Actually I have a couple of announcements, I guess. I've discussed this with Amanda and Grainy Days and other podcasts. I like photography. I'm not like good or anything, but I like taking pictures, and I found that my Mini is what I like taking pictures of because I drive it to cool places. Therefore, I want to take pictures. So
it's more relatable.
Amanda got the bug for me for film camera, so I finally got a camera.
I
got a pretty sweet, pretty clean Canon AE1. I know I'm sure it's like pretty cliche for those film nerds out there, but I got my first roll in here. I got a Kodak 200 gold, this dope vintage, whatever it's called.
The camera strap.
Strap. There you go. I was going to say lanyard strap, cannon strap. So anyways, I took a couple pictures of the S shell yesterday. We'll see. Nice. We'll see if I actually loaded it properly. That's the thing.
I like it when photographers, when they do film, they put in a pre-loaded, like the negatives inside the camera roll, and then they just take a picture on top of another picture. It's a really cool effect.
I think I don't claim to be an expert, but I think that's called double exposure.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know. I'm still learning. I'm not there yet.
But it'd be cool to do like you take some before pictures and keep that real, and then load it back in when you've got the car done and ready. So you've got that before and after on one image.
So what I thought would be cool is every picture I took with my film camera, I took on my iPhone because that's what I usually do. So I have like the same picture on my iPhone, and I'm gonna like compare and contrast and see like unfiltered or unedited or whatever to unedited type of thing. So
Yeah, good idea.
it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
other more exciting news is my gearbox has officially shipped,
Oh
and
my god.
I believe it is landing in the United States of America Halloween on
Yo.
10/31 apparently. So we'll see. I think it came in two things, so we'll see what actually shows up.
You're only
I
going to
don't know.
get half the delivery now, aren't you?
Yeah, I got a message this morning that like there's import fees due. I'm like, like
Oh.
just whatever. Either it's a scam or I'm just gonna. I don't know.
Well, at least it'll be in the country. That's
There you go.
a monumental moment.
Yeah, the guy's gonna be like, "Hey, you owe me $50 for the package," and I'm just gonna run and grab it and run, and it's like trick or treat, because
The
it's
poor
like
bloke's going to be
Halloween.
stood at the door like, "Where's my tip?"
It's like Halloween, trick or treat. I'm gonna steal my gearbox and running down the street with it.
Honestly, if he could run with it, then fair play.
Oh man,
But no,
so
that's fantastic news. Well, congratulations. It's about damn time you got that gearbox.
yeah, I'm getting excited now. I've been just not motivated. I went in the garage and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I started to tinker, but I just I need
You'll
to.
get there.
But yeah, I'm excited because once I like get like the gearbox back on to the block and like then I'll start rolling because I need to go to the hardware store, get some new I don't know what the technical term is for it, but like the transfer case bolts. So
Okay, yeah,
just little
yeah.
things. I like
You
doing
need
that
to
kind
get
of
that
stuff now.
vice as well.
Yeah, I just don't have anywhere to mount the vice.
Just, just I don't know, drill it into the floor. That'll be all right for
I'd
2 minutes. Then
rent
just undrill it and
and then what? Fill it with concrete when I move out, or just hope they
yeah,
don't charge me?
yeah, it'll be fine. They won't notice. Just put like an empty box over it, and then they'll look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, he's
Uh,
left an empty box. Yeah, it's fine."
I'm sure they're not doing a thorough check on the garage as whatever. Actually, when I got it, mine was filthy. I cleaned it before I moved anything into it. So
Nice.
yeah, well, all right, guys. Well, our guest is about to arrive here, so we're going to let her in, and I hope you enjoy this interview, and I will see you guys with our guest. Enjoy. All right, we are live with our lovely guest, Ellie. Also, I love your last name. Is it Hignet?
Hignet, yeah, you actually got it right. Yeah, I
I love
got
it.
married before, so it's a
What was
new
that?
name to me. I
Oh,
got
it's
married. Yeah,
oh, all right. How long ago did you get married? Is it like sunk in that that's your new last name?
yeah, it was last September, so about a year. But loads of people get
Oh,
it wrong. Um,
ah,
so
And trust the Americans get it right for a change.
what?
honestly,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, the thing is, half of his family actually lives in Virginia, so maybe that's why.
maybe. What do they say?
They say Heinet. People call me
What?
Ellie Heinet, and I'm like, there's only one H.
That's what I don't get
Crazy.
that. I wouldn't have. I pride myself in my grammatical correctness as I mess up as I'm trying to say that. Worcestershire.
Come on, Mike. You can do better than that.
That's
Ellie,
actually
Ellie, have you
that's
got any
actually
tips
really
for Mike
close.
on this?
Worcester's actually just down the road from me, so yeah,
Oh, well, would you fancy that?
lovely place.
I swear I can say it like when I'm not saying it out loud. It's like in my head, it's boom every time, like just
Under pressure, though,
perfect.
aren't you?
Yeah, it's under pressure. So, welcome, Ellie. Thank you for being on. I saw you on Instagram. I think I was just telling Sean before we started rolling. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw Crafty Van like
Yeah,
reposted like your like
actually,
transfer
I'm,
tattoo.
I'm repping one of her t-shirts
Oh, let's
today.
go!
Oh, that's so
Ooh,
cool.
that's a super cool one. I like that. Yeah,
Coincidence.
I have a bunch of her stuff like floating around here, and I
Yeah.
will have my like little cover. I don't know what you guys call them. I call them coveralls, like the zip up like one piece
Oh, the
work
Hoodie.
overalls.
overalls. I
Oh,
don't know.
boiler suit, overalls, yeah. Either
I
of
don't
them.
know. Yeah, I feel like they're called coveralls here. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
but I put like her patches on there and stuff. So I like
That's
watch.
such a good
Yeah,
idea.
I
Sick,
know.
yeah.
I know. I
Sick
got
idea.
those patches. I was like, I gotta put them on something. So, but anyways, I saw that transfer tattoo that
Yeah.
you had on, and I like immediately messaged you. I was like, if someone's doing that, like they're down to talk, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So awesome. So I was kind of poking around your Instagram, and I really like your mini. It's super clean. So I reached out, obviously. But Ellie, tell me, the first question that I always ask typically is, what got you into minis? What attracted you to the minis? Like, has it been a lifelong thing? Is it a family thing? Tell me a little bit.
It is basically a family thing in a way. So my dad, growing up, owned a garage for a while, and he's
Mm.
really into cars. When I was like a baby, he rebuilt an MGB Roadster from a shell. He
Oh, cool.
like renovated it, rebuilt it, and then he used to quite often get like minis in his part exchanges in the garage. And he says now to this day, like he would drive me around like in my booster seat, car seat, and I'd be loving it. Like I'd love being in a mini. And then got a bit older. I was always really into cars. Had like a Scalextrics. Do you have that over there? Do
Oh,
you know what that
what?
is? Scalextrics. So it's like
Definitely not.
okay, so you
Maybe.
get these pieces
Slot
of
cars,
track.
Mike. Slot cars.
Is
Oh,
it? Is
slot
it?
cars.
Yeah, yeah. You put the track together. You put the little cars on it, and you it's like
Oh,
electric.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Slot cars. Okay.
And I was like, I want the mini, like the minis that you can drive around the track. So like that was the beginning of this obsession, I think. And I was just really like wanting everything to do with minis as I got older. Then I came the age where I could drive, and I was just like, no. My mum was like, you could have a Ford Fiesta, like there's so many nice, safe cars that you could have. And I was just like, no, I want a mini. And in the end, me and my dad won. And he went out and bought one when I was 16. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
29 now, so no, I'm 28 actually. Yeah, so a long time ago, he just was like, yeah, why not? Went out and bought one for pretty cheap, and then he did a little bit of work and then gave it to me.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
that's a long time ago now. It's like, yeah, 12 years ago.
Yeah, I wanted a mini, like a classic mini, as my first car in Texas in, whatever time period that was, early 2000s. It was like the giant SUV boom, and
Uh-huh.
my parents were like, "Hell no."
You'll literally get driven over.
Oh yeah, I would literally get run over.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So your first car was a classic mini then?
it was. Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
about it. What was it?
It was this car that I have now.
Whoa!
Oh, no way.
But there's
Dang.
more to the story. There's more to the
Oh,
story. Shall I
do
just go in?
tell.
Go.
Do tell.
Yeah.
So, so my dad does it up for me, gives it to me. I love it. It's not very reliable. In the winter, it doesn't always start, but I don't care because it's a mini and I love it and I drive it everywhere. And I had it for, just trying to think, like 5 or 6 years. I still had it when I went to university, but I left it at home because I went to university on the other side of the country. And then I graduated and I started applying for jobs. And then every job I was applying for says you must have like your own vehicle and you must be happy to take it on site to like building sites. I was like, this
It
isn't
must
really going
have
to work.
reliable
Yeah, yeah,
automotive
yeah. You need,
transportation.
yeah, exactly. It's like this isn't going to work. And obviously, I had no job, and I was like, I can't afford to buy another car. Like, I don't have the money lying around. And my parents aren't mega rich, so they couldn't like lend me any money. They said you're going to have to sell the mini to get an
No.
appropriate car to get a job. And so I literally just said I can't do it. Like you're going to have to do it for me, like forcefully, or I never sell it. So my dad did. He sold it.
Oh
I got the money,
no.
bought a new boring rubbish car, and that was it. That was it for like 3 years. Went about my life, bought my house that I'm sitting in today, and I was like, oh, I'm finally like living in kind of like the suburbs where I could have like two cars or something. I was like,
Yeah.
I just don't want any other mini. It's not the same. And then suddenly one day my phone rings. My dad said, I was just looking through eBay, and you'll never guess what's up on eBay. Your car. I was
No way.
no, that's the worst possible thing. And him and my mum had a big argument because she was like, not again, not the same bloody car again. She was like, just don't tell her. She never has to know. And my dad was like, I can't do it. And then, yeah, we got into a bidding war and we didn't win it. We didn't win it.
Oh,
Someone else won it. Someone
no.
else won it. And we were like, I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. But it was probably a good thing because I didn't have the money for it really anyway. We hadn't figured out how we were going to pay for it. But then like a week or something passed. And then my dad gets a call from an unknown number. And it was the guy who he'd sold it to, who still like had his number on a bit of paper. He like found it in his folder. He was like, look, the guy who went out on eBay never paid me.
Ooh.
So like,
Ooh.
do you want it? And it's like, oh my God, that is fate. You know, if you ever like saw
Did
it.
the guy know though that you guys were bidding on it on eBay?
Yeah, because
Oh,
my
okay. I was gonna say.
I didn't know this, but my dad had messaged and just been like, look, if anything kind of falls through, it's, you know, we're the ones that sold it to you. We want it back.
Wow.
That's so
So
cool
we
that
were
he
just
called
like,
up though.
I know, he just literally like rung up and was like, do you want it?
The chances of that happening
I
are
know,
so slim.
It's so flipping crazy. I mean, thanks to my dad, because like his hobby is just sitting on eBay and like looking at cars. he absolutely loves it. But yeah, so obviously I now live like about 4 hours from home, and the Mini was still down like near my hometown. So it was in COVID actually, when you weren't really meant to like travel around. And I was like, right, well, I'm going to have to come down and get it. But it's okay. I'll just drive down, get a lift, drive down, drive it back. Like I won't stop anywhere. Went down to pick it up, and it was in a sorry state. It was in a real sorry state. Like all the kind of little lovely things that we'd done over the years to make it really like authentic to the Studio 2 like limited edition had been like undone, and it was just like areas of the car had been like covered over with like a bottle spray paint that didn't like match, because it's like a specific color. So there were like bits that had been touched in with just like some gray, like, you know, Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sacrilege.
And I was like going around, and obviously the guy who had it was just a really young lad, and he just had it for a good time, you know.
Right.
And I was just walking around the car like, oh yeah, this is so great. Like I want to cry.
Yeah, it's like it's happy, sad.
Yeah. But then I was like, right, I'll take it. And I tried to start driving it home, and it was just like bunny hopping. The horn kept getting stuck on. I was driving on the motorway, and it just like randomly would just stop blaring the horn, and like the lower drivers were like, fuck off. I was like, I can't get the horn to stop. And my dad was just like, look, this isn't safe. You can't drive this 4 hours home. You're going to have to leave it here. And yeah, so then began, as my dad likes to call it, the rebirth, where
the rebirth.
he spent time kind of putting things back and fixing things up. I mean, I'm lucky because he's also like an electrician. That's his job. And there were a lot of electrical problems, so he was able to fix a lot of the little problems. Yeah, and then after...
So the horn doesn't blare randomly now?
The horn doesn't blare anymore. Yeah, and then he brought it back up to me. That was about 3 years ago now. And then it's been here with me since.
So how hard are the parts to find for a Studio 2 for like trim or anything like that? Because I assume...
Quite hard. So like one of the big problems that I had when we got it back is, so the Studio 2 has this really unique interior. So it's like the seats are doe skin, which is a bit gross, but like, like deer skin. Like they're really soft. Yeah, they're grey. And then they've got this like mint green trim, because it's got this like mint green detailing on the car. And obviously there's only as many interiors as there were cars. And when they first came out, there were 1,500 of them, but new.
Oh, wow.
And now, if like the internet is to be believed, there's like less than 100 of them left.
Is that on UK roads or is that global?
On UK roads.
Yeah.
I've got the numbers here. There were also 500 in Germany, apparently, but I don't know about those ones.
I've never heard of it. Maybe, yeah, this is
many
like,
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I
Um,
really like the colors.
it's like a
Yeah, go into
blue
a little
gray.
more detail about the like what makes it specific, what's specific to the Studio 2. You know, you mentioned the interiors. What else is it that it was just a
It
limited
was
edition that they kind of did?
Yeah, it was to do with and I might get this a little bit wrong, but it's something to do with when they were kind of coming up with the different editions for the Mini. There was
Hmm.
like the main studio where all the designing was done, and then they set
Mm.
up a second studio, which is called Studio 2. And it was like the
That's
Hmm.
cool.
first thing that they did, and they were like, I don't know what to call it. Let's just call it the Studio 2 because we are the second studio, and this is our our vibe. So they
So
just called it that.
it's almost like a little Easter egg then, really.
Yeah, it's super random, but so the paint color is only on these cars. It came in three colors. It came in just regular black, which was just a stock color, and then it came
Hmm.
in two like special colors, which was Nordic blue or Nordic gray. I can't remember which it's called. And then mine is called Storm Gray. They're very similar. The Nordic color has just a bit more blue in it,
Mm.
and then yeah, the Storm Gray. So that's unique to the car. And then they have a green stripe down the side with the little dots on the stripe. And then the big Studio 2 like decals on the door and on the boot. And then the other thing that they had, which was quite unusual, which actually mine doesn't have anymore, but all the kind of hardware like the wipers, door handles, wing mirrors were like matte black, which is quite
Mm.
Oh wow.
unusual because not like matte's kind of a new trend, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
All of
a lot
those
of the minis
parts
are
were
matte
gone.
grey, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. But all of those parts were already gone when I bought it, and I kind of like a little bit of chrome, so I haven't bothered to kind of to do that. Um, and then the interior, having that same green trim, those seats, and I think that's mostly it. Like a green center on the steering wheel, like a mint green to match.
Mm.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's about it. And then underneath all of that, it's obviously just a 998 kind of standard setup under the hood. And it
Were they
was yeah, go on, sorry,
sorry? Were they SPI? Were they single carb?
single carb, yeah. And obviously it's 1990 that they were released, so they're kind of that age where they are a bit newer, but you still don't get. It's got no aircon, still got the windy windows and stuff like that. It's not got the like next like edition of upgrades that some of my
Hmm.
friends' minis have, and they're like, "Oh, my aircon's lovely," and I'm like, but the seats though are a real problem because there's not many of them, and when I got it back, the lad who'd been driving it was honestly like 6'5" or something, and where he tried to push the seat back, he'd snapped the bar underneath the seat, so
Oh
it
Oh.
like
no.
lost all structural like integrity. And we searched for ages, and in the end, my dad found a seat in a barn. It was absolutely minging, like on eBay again, I think. So he managed to get it because you can't switch the seats, by the way, because they've got like a stripe, so you couldn't like take a passenger seat
Oh,
and
is it
you'd
so
literally
directional?
yeah, because it's
Ah,
specific. But he found one, fixed it up for me, switched the seats out, and now it's all good again. But
that's cool. It's so lucky that you managed to find another seat.
it's really lucky. We had welded it, but it just was like it just wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, it's still you can
Yeah.
always constantly feel it then, can't you?
Well, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I do love it. Although it's not the happiest. I mean, when I was living at home, it was outdoors, and minis are not happy outdoors. And even still, I don't have a drive or a garage, so it's just out on the street, which I hate. So I need to
Especially
get a
this time of
garage.
the year.
Yeah. And my road as well, it like is quite prone to flooding. And obviously minis, they're very low. And sometimes I look out the window when we've got some flooding and I'm like, oh, it's gonna like wash away or something.
Uh,
Like get really deep, deep, deep water. But, that does mean that like it causes a lot more kind of problems though. But I just have to try and keep on top of the maintenance. Um, I'm quite lucky though, from being part of the mini club and like making friends. I now know some people who are really knowledgeable and talented. And actually, this year, one of my friends who he is amazing. He completely builds them, renovates them. He's like a mini wizard. has offered to take it and MOT it and like do any work that needs doing on it, because it will need work doing. Like every year something needs doing.
Sod's law, isn't it?
That's just, I accept that. I've learned now. You do it, then you save up ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And this is what Mike and I have been saying for quite a while now. Every time we speak to somebody on here, it always goes back to the mini community and how good everybody is. Everyone's always got that one person that they can sort of go to and be like, hey, look, I've got this issue. Can you help us out? And it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I don't know about you, but maybe because I put myself out there with the podcast or, Instagram or whatever it is, I feel like I get often like somebody new to the mini community that's trying to get their first one started. Like most people get a project one and they're trying to get it going, and they're asking me questions and this and that. And I love that. It's fun. It's fun sharing that information. And, I don't know everything. And a guy was texting with me yesterday. He was something was wrong with his gearbox. And I was like, I can't visualize it. And he had the different gearbox. I was like, call this guy. And boom, like 10 minutes later, he was like, we fixed it. I was like, hey, let's go. I love that. That's a great community.
Are there a lot of minis around where you live then? Well, not really.
Yes and no. Like direct. So we talked about this on a previous episode. Like, the United States is really big, so like right near me, there's not that many.
Yeah.
But like LA, there's a big car scene, and regularly if we go to car shows or car cruises with our like clubs or groups or whatever, there's easily 20 to 25 that show up.
How far do you have to drive to meet with those like 20 or 25?
Me, like probably an hour, but there's a good group that's like kind of in LA. Yeah, and there's a few sprinkled around like my parts that I know of.
That's still more than I sort of would have thought, though. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, no, the United States has a big scene. There's a couple big like events each year. There's like a Mini Meets West, it's called, and basically like kind of the West Coast people come over, has a big group. There's Mini Meets East. There's a Classic Minis United that's kind of over on the east side of the country as well. And there's hundreds of cars that show up. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not like a daily occurrence that you see one that I picture in England, but
honestly, it's weird, I think sometimes where do they all go? Because like so there's the British Mini Club, which I'm guessing you know, but they coordinate all the kind of like nationwide stuff. So you go to one of their meets, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But then I don't see that many driving around. I think, where are they all? Like when I'm not kind of on an organised run or on the way to like a classic car meet or something like that, when I'm just driving about in my daily life, I probably see like one every couple of months.
Yeah.
Like it's not that common, which is so odd. But if you go out on a Sunday morning when the roads are generally quiet, that's when you'll see them. Because in the UK, like Sunday morning, that's when you go out in your classic car. That's the vibe.
Definitely. And the thing is as well, like I remember sort of, we're sort of similar ages, Ellie. And walking to school when I'm 14, 15, I used to see at least 6 minis on the walk to school. All the Italian job minis, the late Rover Cooper minis, you name it, they were everywhere. And all of a sudden, they've just overnight just sort of vanished into thin air until, like you say, you go to a
honestly,
party
they've all rusted away.
Yeah.
Honestly,
maybe you exported them out to the United States.
I mean, you've got 2 of them already, Mike. You've got the majority in SoCal.
That's true. I got 2. Although one of mine is a U.S. car, so one of them is. Oh man, that's interesting though. I always thought about that, but it's maybe just because people. My theory is that because they were maybe like cheaper cars, is that people just kind of drove them to death and just didn't maintain them. So like there's not that many on the road still. They're probably all just tucked away in the garage and like you said, rusted away. No one wanted to deal with it and spend the money on, you know what I mean? I don't know. Who knows? Well, Southern California is not a bad spot to send them if you want to. There's not You know, it's very never rain. It never rains or snows here, so they're safe in my garage.
Yeah, I know. Honestly,
Or on the street, to be honest with you.
I've actually heard from people, not that I've ever really lived right on the coast, but it's really awful to have a Mini if you live right on the coast because they rust away anyway, but the salty air and
Salt air, yeah.
spray, if you
Doubles
live
the
right.
rate of the rust.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
fast forward on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty close to the water, but it's not like
Mm,
super salty where I'm at. But it literally never rains, so it's like
mm.
it's just dry all the time. So it's pretty easy to keep them.
I'm so jealous of that. Like what we've had a lot lately, I don't know why, but this year we've had loads of that like sandy rain. And I swear it only happens like I'll go out there, I'll clean my car, I spend ages doing it. I come back and I'm like, great, little sandy specks all over it. It's horrid.
Oh man. I wanted to ask you, you were talking about the studio too and like specific things to it. Is the roof flag something that it came with, or did you add that?
My dad did that. We're in the
I
rebirth, because I'd always said, because obviously there's little green bits, but other than that, the inside and everything is all kind of, it's all monochrome with the little green highlights. And I'd
uh-huh.
always said, like, because the roof was just the same color. And I
Hmm.
had said when I'd had it previously, like, it would just really suit if we could find like a Union Jack, but like grayscale, it would look so
Yeah.
cool.
That's
And
cool.
so he just decided to do it as a
It
surprise, which is pretty
it
cool.
looks really good. Because it almost, I mean, at least from the pictures, it almost matches the paint like
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah. Oh well, so it's because the only bits that are because it's like a kind of a decal sticker type thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's only the black and silver bits, and then the background is the actual roof. That's
That
Oh,
why.
makes
that makes
sense.
it. Oh, yeah, it looks
Yeah, it makes it
really
bright.
good.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. All
Because you've got
right. I
matching
like
tail
that.
lights as well, haven't you?
yeah. And I've got like little Union Jack. Again, they are just stickers where you unscrew.
And you put
You
them
can get them on
inside,
eBay.
yeah?
No way.
Unscrew them. You just stick them in, screw them back on.
Oh, I need to
I've
find
seen
these.
those. Those look
Yeah,
really cool. I really wanted to get those, but I feel like it just didn't quite fit my like ratty car
yeah.
vibe. So, but I
It's
really
got to
like the
kind of
look of
fit,
those.
hasn't it? Because I've got the roof, I've got the tail lights, I've got some little little grayscale Union Jacks now, like on the side. I don't know if there's in
Mm-hmm.
any of the pictures, and then I've got a couple of them on the inside as well, just kind of dotted around.
You know
And
what it is though? It's just like the subtle bits. Like there's
yeah,
little things. Boom! Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! And it's all. It's not
yeah,
like loud in your face, bright red and blue Union Jack on your car. It's like, and the taillight ones are so subtle. Like
yeah, yeah.
if if you saw this picture that I'm looking at right now, you might not notice it, but
Mhm.
they're just
Yeah,
nice.
because I
Very
almost
cool.
scrolled past that until I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, hang on a second, haven't seen that before."
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
See,
I've not really come
one of
across
my
them.
friends again. One of my friends put them on his, and we were like, "Nice! Like, how did you do that?" And then a few of us copied him. um,
Are they
that's
like kind of tint? Is it like tint or is it actually black vinyl? Because they look kind of almost see through. So it's like very
again,
subtle.
it's like each piece is an individual cutout, so it's just like
Yeah.
black vinyl, and then some
Hmm.
bits obviously have no sticker on, so the light still comes through, and it kind of like
Hmm.
gives a silhouette effect. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. It
That's
looks
so
nice.
cool.
it's
Well,
pretty
Ellie,
cool.
what else are you planning on doing with this thing? Just driving it? Is it just kind of your Sunday morning cruiser, car shows and stuff like that? Or is it
Yeah, yeah. I go to a lot of car shows and meets and things like that. I do have another car. Um, that basically, so I live in Birmingham,
okay.
which is actually I've discovered quite a good place to have a classic car, because you probably know like Minis were originally made in Longbridge, which is in
Yep.
Birmingham.
Yep.
So that's
Oh,
just down the road, and because of that,
didn't know that.
there's a lot going on. There's a lot of events and things. Um, but yeah, just it's always going to be. Whereas before I had it as my only car, I don't think I have the confidence to do that again. I think now I'm an adult and I've got places to be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that again. And it's nice to have the option of like a really good heater, really good aircon, like cruise control for a long journey. So
There is nothing worse
Yeah.
than having to fix your daily car on a Sunday night in the middle of winter. There is
Exactly.
nothing worse.
Exactly. So I just want
What's
to keep
winter?
it. I just want to keep it. And
No, that's awesome.
this is the thing.
You already went through it. You went through the daily driver phase. Like, you're good. You don't need to do that anymore.
I've been there and done that. But we want to move house eventually, and it's causing like quite a sticking point because it's like there are so many more important things that we need. Like we want 2 reception rooms, we want this, we want that, and I'm like, we need a garage. And like, my husband and like his family are like, are you sure you can't compromise on that? I'm like, no,
No, it's
I
the
need
priority.
a garage. There's so many houses in the UK now where they've converted the garage into like a kitchen or whatever. And I'm like, no. They'll say, oh, but you get more indoor space. I'm like, where is my car going to go? They're like, on the road. I'm like, no.
That's I hate when people do that. It's like, why would you convert the garage?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, I guess people just don't give a shit about their car. They're fine parking it outside. I don't know.
Yeah. So
weird.
Yeah, I mean, most people nowadays. Oh, sorry, Ellie, go on.
Let's say my plan is just try and keep it going. It needs a lot of like work all the time, but that is my goal. Keep it going for as long as I physically can. And then if I can't anymore, then at some point I might have to let it go. We'll see. Because at some point, well, I didn't say this, but most people say that the Studio 2, like the model, is one of the worst for rust. Like it was made really badly. The panels are extremely thin, so it just rusts even quicker than a lot of like similar models. So it's still the original shell that's had like different panels welded onto it and different repairs done. But what I have been warned about multiple times is like there will come a point where once every panel's like been replaced and welded on, and then the replaced panel rusts away, there will be nothing to weld to anymore. Not really. It'll be hard to repair, and you'll need to reshell it.
Yeah.
And if you've seen the price nowadays of like buying a shell, it's really expensive. So when it gets to that point, that's when I think I'll have to say, I've done my bit, I've had my fun, but I'll let him go.
Enough is enough.
Hopefully not for a long time.
I mean, it looks pretty clean from the photos.
It's got a few. It's honestly, it's underneath that's worse, and that's just from it living outside. I think it's got a little, few little bits around the scuttle, around the window, which is quite common, and then it's got one of the A panels has like a rust bubble, but that's not a problem. I've had the other A panel done, and that's relatively easy. But like I say, it's the underneath. Like there is a bit on the driver's side floor now. It's like, that's the ground? Okay.
Don't start poking around. Nope.
Yeah.
Stop poking.
Don't even look.
No, but it's done. It's due its MOT in a couple of weeks. So like I say, I'm giving it to my clever friend, and if it needs any welding doing, he's good at welding and whatever else. So I'm not too worried.
How often do you guys have to do MOTs? Is it like after like a certain age of the car hits, like you don't have to do it anymore?
So if you were to buy the car brand new, I think you've got a 3-year grace period. Otherwise, everything after that 3 years has got to be annually.
Even if it's like
there's exemption.
Like if it's 20. Yeah, I was gonna say, like if it's like 25 years old or something like that, they can be exempt or what?
Is it 40 or 45 or something like that? I think
40.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I know it's for tax.
Yeah, it's 40 because mine is 1990, so it's only 33 years old, so it's 7 years off.
Yeah.
Exemption.
So then you don't have to do the MOT, or you just don't have to pay the tax?
But that's the tax, and I think MOT you've got to wait a little bit longer, haven't you? Is it another 10 years or something?
I think you don't have to MOT it either.
Oh, really?
MOT and tax exempt, yeah. Which I don't know, because my dad's Roadster is like 64. He's going to kill me if I've got the year wrong, but his is definitely MOT and tax exempt. But what he says is he still MOTs it like every other year, I think, because he's like, it's handy to have it done to just know anything I need to fix. So I think I would still get it MOT'd because you can still drive it. Mini. Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah, it seems like it's a good actual like inspection. Like I feel like some of the inspections that in states that I've lived in, there was like lights work, all right, you're good. Like, you know,
Really?
I feel like whether they like check like ball joints and like all sorts of stuff on MOTs. Yeah,
They
So
do.
what do you
The
guys
only
have out in
thing,
the States then?
it's state by state, so it just depends on where you live. Like California, you pretty much just do like a smog test for like emissions,
that's
but
it.
like some other states that I've lived in, you do a car inspection every couple of years, but it's not like anything crazy, just pretty basic. Like brakes work, lights work, and horn works. It's like safety things, not like, well,
Structural.
not looking for like rust and that kind of stuff.
That's terrifying.
I didn't know that.
There's
That
some
is
shitty
terrifying.
cars on the road.
Yeah, that explains a
Yeah.
lot.
America.
I feel like
People are probably ripping me in in the comments or something, because I'm sure there are states that do a thorough inspection, but not all of them. Like I don't know. I've never lived in Florida, but I heard Florida you can basically just bring a race car and get it, registered. Like, there's no real inspection. I could be wrong though.
It's worth trying.
It's worth trying, yeah.
I was gonna say,
So,
I feel like you still like in the UK when you're going to get your mini MOT, you still have to be quite careful about where you take it.
Yeah,
And if
I've seen
you,
some cowboys.
if you've had this, Sean, but I didn't really know where to take it when I first got it up here, and I took it somewhere, and I was like, this would be fine, like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Famous last words. It'll be fine.
I went away. I came back, but I didn't like announce myself. I went out for a walk, and I walked back, and I walked back into the guy, and he had a screwdriver and like a little mallet type thing, and he was just banging into the underneath of the car. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "This is really rusty." I was like,
well,
"Well, yes,
stop
a bit
banging
rusty.
it.
You've done that. You've knocked that hole in it." And then he
Oh.
failed it, and it was like, yes. I'm not saying it wasn't rusty. It was, but I mean, it could have. It was about 1 year away from probably failing on that specific bit. But he just went and knocked a hole in it, and that's how I learned. You've got to take it somewhere that knows like how to MOT a classic car.
That's
Because
it.
as well, like emissions as well. That on a mini you can easily like fiddle with that.
100%.
Your mixture's a bit wrong. Like let's just adjust it. But like, yeah, you got to
Just
find somewhere.
lean that bad boy out.
Yeah.
That's it. The problem is over here. There's not a lot of. I say there's not a lot of garages. There's not a lot of known garages which are classic car sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are just now laptop warriors. They'll plug it into the OBD and they'll sweat out a few codes and send it on its way. No one wants to do the work on a classic car anymore, and it's such a shame. Like tuning carburetors, I used to know a few people that used to be able to tune it by ear. Nowadays, you take it to a garage and they're like, "We're not touching it, mate. Sorry."
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. And what about when you're in a mini and then you break down? Like I went in my mini to actually, did anyone watch Top Gear?
Of course.
Yeah. So you know who Jeremy Clarkson is then? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to take the mini down to Clarkson's farm. Like, this is an amazing idea. And that's about an hour and a half from my house. I got it to Chipping Norton, like right by the farm. And then it started to play up. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I got it to the farm. And then after that, it was still like, it was playing up. And I like went to a pub, called the RAC, waited, I think 4 hours.
Jeez.
And the guy literally showed up and he was like, it's not that mini, is it? And I was like, yeah, I can't fix that.
Oh,
You haven't even looked at it yet. He did actually manage to fiddle with it and get it going again for me. That was a while ago. I've learned a little bit more now, and I probably could have resolved the problem.
Oh, I can't imagine if I had to call like a roadside repair guy and like they'd be like, "What do you like? No, like we're just towing it. Like, what is this thing? Like, carburetor?"
I know.
Well, especially like I'm sure especially where I live in California, I'm sure there's a lot of like carburetor gurus with the classic car scene here, but not many for SU carbs. Like no one knows what that is.
I was gonna say you got big Holly carbs, haven't you, out there mostly?
Yeah,
Elder Rock and
whatever they put on those big block Chevys. I don't know. I know nothing about American cars.
Does your Mini not like overheat loads, Mike? Like,
No, it runs like a top, baby.
that's good.
Because I was tuning it by ear, just like deet, 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 deet. No, it does pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think that episode has released yet. But I guess by the time people are hearing yours, maybe it has. But I'm telling the story of how I drove it up to Idaho on a rally, across Idaho and then back down the coast. And for reference, I think we were saying it's like 2 lengths of the UK, like up just to
Whoa.
get up there. Wasn't it something like that, Sean? It was
I think did you say 1,000 miles just to get to the start line or something silly like that?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, I did. I pretty much did like 3,000 like on the dot round trip, the whole thing. But I it was like a heat wave in the United States at that time, and it was like 115 degrees, like driving. I thought the car was gonna overheat, but it just ran perfectly. I know. I was surprised too.
That is really impressive.
I mean, maybe my gauge was broken. I don't know, but no smoke or anything. Yeah.
Wow. Mine's actually all right for it. I think it seems to vary very much, like from car to car. But I've been on like a big organized run before in a warm summer. I only know degrees C, but when it's like sort of 30 or so in the UK, which is hot, and we get to the end destination, and like loads of them are just sort of like a big smoke cloud.
If you ever get lost to a mini show, just follow the cloud of white smoke and you'll find them. It's
It's never happened to mine, touch wood. So
has it not?
Never ever, no.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, see, I feel like a lot of people talk about there's overheating, and mine never has. I mean, and no one that I really know, it might run a little hot, like a little east of the central gauge, but nothing crazy.
My first show, the Mini overheated, and there was plumes of white smoke coming out from it. And what I didn't realise was my foot was getting very hot and very wet very quickly because the heater matrix pipe had fallen off.
Oh God! That's awful.
That's funny.
They're the worst, aren't they? Like one of those was leaking for the longest time. I'm like, I don't know where you're leaking from. Which part? Like, is it the pipe? Is it the matrix? It was the matrix itself.
Was it the little sort of neck where the tube slides onto?
But the matrix itself was just like, it was just broken. Once I swapped it out and put it all, well, someone helped me swap it out. It was fine again. But it was leaking like all over the carpet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
See, that's why you guys can come move to Southern California and just take it out and not use it because you don't need heaters.
Or you're just a madman like myself and just take it out completely and just not run it without
Let's
any heating during the winter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do? I mean, does yours live indoor, like in a garage?
Fortunately, yes.
Okay. I was going to say, what do you do like in the winter when you go and you get in the car and it's completely, all loads of condensation and stuff? How do you demist?
Well, this is the problem that I'm trying to figure out at the moment because I got the harness and I got the Kirky seat. I can't physically reach the windscreen even with a cloth, so I haven't figured it out yet.
You got to put like I don't know if it's like Rain-X or some of those. They have like de-mist, like defoggers that like it like won't.
I've tried it. I've tried it, and it still mists up.
Keep the old windscreen clean.
That's it. I think my only option is I either pull over every time it re-mists up and clean it, or I just don't drive it in the winter.
No, you can't do that. You've got to keep them. My opinion is like the worst thing you can do to a Mini is not drive it. That is my like mantra.
100%.
They need to be driven.
Yeah, I pretty much like even though I have another car, I drive it still all year. I even did drive it in the snow last year. I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe avoid when it snows because it's only like a week a year, so maybe avoid that. But otherwise,
but it was great fun though.
Yeah, it wasn't because it got so covered in salt, and then I came home and it went dark, and so I just like put it back under its cover, And then I didn't drive it. It was only about 2 or 3 weeks. And then I got it in it the next time, and I was like, oh, my clutch is gone. I don't know what's going on here. I can't pull away. So then I had my husband and his friend out trying to like rock the car. And then all of a sudden there was this massive bang. And I spoke to my friend, and it happened to her as well, which we'd been out at the same time. And it was basically like all the salt had crystallized the brakes, like the handbrake and the brake.
Yeah.
It like kind of crystallized, and the brakes were stuck on. And it was
Oh,
the
no.
loudest bang. And I was like, I'm not going to drive it in the snow again.
And you get halfway down the road, and it's just a constant.
Honestly,
Oh,
it's been
yeah.
a long. I was like, I might have absolutely messed my brakes up, because for about 30 minutes, when I braked, it was like ABS was coming on. It was like every time I
Oh
braked.
no.
But I stopped, and I called my friend, whose dad is quite good at these things, and he was like, honestly, when there's no one behind you, do a few like big emergency stops.
Yeah,
Make sure
yeah.
you're going on a decent like drive, and it will sort itself out, and it did.
Just clean the surface rust off it, and
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Love it. Love it.
Oh,
love it.
brilliant.
Well, Ellie, are you ready for the Patty probe? Do you know what the Patty probe is?
I do not.
Oh,
no.
well. First off is you need to start listening to the show more often. So, second off is the Patty probe. For those also that don't know, if this is your first time listening, it's a set of maybe controversial questions related to the mini community. It was meant to be rapid fire at the beginning, but it never turns out to be rapid fire. But it's maybe thought provoking mini questions.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. We need game show music too, Sean.
Yeah, you
Add
do.
that to the
Yes, we
list.
do. 100%.
Let me check my media. Nope, I don't got any game show. Let's see here. Ellie, what is your favorite mini variant?
Oh, Equinox, definitely.
Oh,
My favorite. It's what I wanted. I wouldn't trade
is that
my.
the purple one?
Yeah, it's the purple.
Yeah, that's
one.
that's a good
It's
one.
gorgeous
Yeah.
purple.
My buddy has one.
The interior.
He won't come on this show.
The interior
too afraid.
is the best.
Was
Is
the
it?
interior with all the like the moons and the sun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I love that kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
Oh, no way, that's so cool.
Yeah.
We got to get you one of those. Add that to the collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good color too. I love that.
Love it.
Let's see here. Do you have a favorite mini modification?
I actually don't like modifications. Not really. I don't mind a little bit of changing, like what I've got on mine, like some chrome, things like that.
Yeah.
But I mostly hate all of them, to be honest.
Are you a purist, Ellie?
No, I don't mind on other people's, I guess, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't like big exhausts. I don't like them to be noisy. I hate bucket seats. Like,
See, this is the great part about the Patty probe.
yeah,
You must hate Sean's car then.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I am maybe a bit of a purist. I mean, I don't mind little things. Like on mine, it still looks to me like correct. There's nothing on there that's kind of out of character with the kind of the era. But yeah, I don't like anything that's too modern, really.
That's
Well,
fair enough.
I don't disagree with that, and for mainly on a car like yours, like it's a limited edition one, I wouldn't change anything on that. Little things like you said, little tiny like maybe
Tasteful.
aesthetic things.
Just say-
Yeah, I wouldn't be slamming that car and wide arches and bucket seats on that car. I wouldn't do that
wide
on
arches.
that car. Like. All right, I'm gonna move on so people don't start unfollowing you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That is so true. It's quite controversial.
It is very
It is.
controversial. I know. I agree.
That's what I always say, that I really don't like it when anyone gets up, in other people's business and says like, I don't like this. Why have you done this? I don't care. I'm fine with people liking what they like, and I'd never say rude things about someone's car. Other people
I agree.
like
That's
that,
100%.
but I'm
I
fine.
agree. Yeah, it's about it's your car. Period. End of story. Do what you want with it.
Exactly.
I have my preferences. You have yours. Who cares?
Exactly.
But I like to know. I like to know what yours are. So, anyways, if you could have a drink, coffee, beer, or tea, or drink of choice with one mini celeb, who would it be?
David Hollis. I don't know if he's a celebrity, but
David Hollis.
I don't know
he's
who that
the
is.
guy who runs British Mini Club.
Ah.
I do know him and I've
Oh.
chatted with him, but he's a really nice guy. But he's just like he's very in demand and like hard to actually chat to because every time I start chatting to him, somebody else is like, he gets grabbed. But he seems like a really nice guy. He's been doing it for years. He's like a
Maybe
mini.
we'll have to get him on the show.
He
I
would
think so.
honestly, that would be great. I
Yeah.
bet he'd love that.
Yeah, I've talked to a few of the kind of bigger mini scene kind of guys, and it's hard. Everyone's really busy running their life, and then whatever else they're doing, and it's difficult to
Yeah.
connect. So good answer. I like that one. Maybe we'll try to get them on. I have some new ones here that I might want to try out on you.
Oh no.
Be afraid, Eddie. Be very afraid.
Since you've already thrown out some controversial answers here. What is your least favorite mini variant?
Oh. Oh, I don't know what it's called. There's one that's kind of like pink. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this weird color, and it's not red and it's not pink. It's somewhere in between, but it just doesn't look right. I just feel like it looks like it doesn't look like an original color. It looks a bit tacky, I think.
Was this when Rover was sort of, toying with different color schemes and ideas?
Yeah, I think I can't remember much about it. I see it sometimes at shows, and I'm like, I don't look at it.
Right before they sold the BMW.
Yeah, I think it's like mid-90s, but yeah, it's like a horrible red, pink, magenta. That's probably what it's called.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up with this one.
Yeah.
Is there a mini myth that you would like to myth bust, if you will? Is there a common misconception or anything that you might want to debunk?
That it's just a car. How many times have I heard that? Like, why do you need to have two cars? They're both just cars. You get in them and you drive somewhere. People who don't have minis or don't have classic cars just don't get it. That it's like, it's so much more than that. Like, I literally just got in from driving my mini, actually. And it's like, sometimes I think, I can't be bothered. It's going to be cold or whatever. But as soon as you start driving it, anything that I'm worried about, because I often go out on my own, it's my like place where I like sort through my thoughts. It's really therapeutic. It's an activity. When I say, people say, what are you going to do on Sunday? I say, I'm going to go out. Like sometimes I'll go out for a run in my car. Like where? Why? No, that is the activity. Like I'm going out on my mini.
That's exactly why.
That is
the activity, and I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better. I love that answer, and the people that probably ask you that are the ones that turn their garages into like a living room.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's I've been chatting. I don't know if you guys have heard of Driven Escape. I believe Connor runs that, and I really like that message. And it's for me, I don't suffer with like depression or anything like that, but like you just said, hard day at work or something, stressed out about something, and can get in the car and drive. And it's not any car. It's my mini, the classic car that does it. I'm sure everyone has their own car that, some people, maybe it is their new car, but it's about, it's not about like going to a destination. It's just about the journey inside the car. And yeah, I really like that. I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like that answer a lot.
It's just what came to mind, but I think it's the truth.
Fantastic one.
Yeah.
Well, let's end on that one. That's a mic drop situation there. Ellie, I appreciate you being on. Is there anything else you want the people to know? Go follow Ellie's journey if you want her to. If you want me to, I'll drop your Instagram. I don't know if you want me to or not.
So. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
It's
El Hignett.
Yep, you said it right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I think I'm good at it because my dog's name is Higgins.
Ah, lovely.
Proper British name.
That is proper British name. Yeah.
I know.
Good old Big H.
Big H. H. Yeah, go check out Ellie on the gram. She's got some great shots of the Mini on there. The one I'll leave you with this. The one that I really like. It looks like it's out in front of a damn castle. Like, where is that?
Oh,
super cool.
I don't know how I forgot to bring this up, but that was
Sandon Hall.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was just at a car show, but
Maybe.
there's also ones in front of like a stately home,
Oh,
and that was
oh
at
yeah,
my
this
wedding.
one too.
Was it
Oh,
my
this
wedding?
one is the
Oh.
Chateau Impney.
No, not that one either. I don't know.
No.
Maybe it's not on my Instagram. Might not
Maybe.
be. Might be in the like.
Well, here's a wedding picture.
Yeah, I don't know if I put it on, if it's in a like an album or whatever. But
Oh shit.
yeah,
We're about to go down. Maybe we'll talk about this off air, but you got a damn white owl at your wedding. That's sick.
Yeah, as well. I had two wedding cars, but yep, the Mini was there at my wedding. So
Oh,
Has to be. It
all
has
right.
to be at the wedding, surely.
yeah,
It's part of the family.
that again, controversial, because I had to drive up the night before, so that it was on site.
Uh-huh.
And I was gonna just drive up like the morning of, but everyone was like,
Right.
"Don't do that. It will break down."
Yeah.
The wedding.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, definitely some cool pictures on there. Great scenery, cool car, awesome person. Go check her out. Go follow her. Follow what is our Instagram? Minilife.37.
37.
Minilife.37. I was gonna say that the email is the minilife37, I believe. So, anyways, follow Gold Tooth Cray on Insta and Scrapyard, and we will catch you guys.
Hold on, Mike. You've forgotten one more thing. You've forgotten the very important thing, Mike. Oh, right, guys.
They probably already turned it off by now.
Oh yeah, either that or they they fast forwarded up to this point. So we have some very, very big news coming your way. One of which I am not going to release to you guys just yet, but it's coming up to the seasonal period. Mike and I have been working very hard behind the scenes, and we've come to the conclusion that we need some merchandise for you lovely, lovely listeners. So I believe Mike and I will be dropping some hats and a t-shirt design very, very shortly. I'm hoping, within the next week or two, Mike, was it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, by the time people are listening to this, they might already be dropped. I only have a few stickers left. You guys have been crushing it on the stickers. I love those stickers. They're really nice. But people have reached out about shirts and hats, so we are going to drop at least one of each. And I think they're pretty cool, so be on the lookout. Be on the lookout, Ellie.
Oh, yes.
I will be. Christmas is coming.
See, it's the season.
Yep.
It's the season.
And we're giving as much as we can.
We're giving. Now we want to make cool stuff and not we're not trying to push merch on anybody, but just people like merch. I like merch, so
that's it.
I kind of want it for myself too. So anyways,
100%.
All right. For
Thanks,
the third time, I will catch you guys on the next one.
See you later, guys.
Nice chatting. See ya.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.